So, Israel and Hamas have finally brokered a multi-phase ceasefire after months, if not a year, of negotiations. Here's a couple of takes from me and what it means. In the first phase, Hamas is going to release about 33 Israeli hostages, of which Israel believes most are still alive. In exchange, Hamas is going to see an unspecified number of Palestinian detainees released, of which they believe Israel holds about 1,000. Both the US, Egypt, and Qatar have all come out and stated the official acceptance of the deal. In subsequent phases, you're going to see the provision of humanitarian aid and discussions around long-term reconstruction of Gaza, but also potential issues over two-state solution. While this does seem like a comprehensive ceasefire compared to a temporary or what was seen as humanitarian pauses in the early part of 2024, it's not the end of it. Each side could consider the other to violate it and conflict begins again, particularly around the upcoming provision of humanitarian supplies. There's going to be a lot of tension, unpredictability, and skepticism about people involved in that process. This isn't just a nation-state to nation-state provision of supplies. It involves plenty of non-state actors and complex borders which some don't fully recognise or adhere to. Egypt is going to play a critical role at the Rafah border on the southwestern flank of Gaza, whereby aid is going to have to come in through the ground. Some may want to push for maritime provisions, but that will not likely go down well with the Israelis. Moreover, you're going to have third parties that act as monitors and observers to ensure that any aid that is coming in isn't squandered, looted, or taken by certain actors, in the case of Israel, potentially Hamas, to be used as resupplying. But given the relationship of Israel to the UN, particularly UNRWA, that could be difficult to enact. So could a regional body like the Arab League take a lead role in overseeing this? Then, of course, individual nation states that have vested interests, such as the Gulf Arab nations like Qatar or Saudi Arabia. And then, of course, there's the bigger picture about post-war reconstruction, which is the most complicated of all. Some estimates suggest that it could take over $50 billion to rebuild Gaza. By comparison, the last time Israel conducted any operations in Gaza and the West Bank, the reconstruction cost was about $8 billion. Moreover, there is skepticism amongst certain states, including the Qataris and Emiratis, who were key in rebuilding Gaza after the 50-day war in 2014 because of the Hamas control of what's known as the Gaza Reconstruction Mechanism, or GRM, and the reluctance to want to be overly associated with said entity. There is, of course, the Palestinian Authority in the West Bank, but many believe, at least from the Israeli perspective, that this won't be enough to ensure a strong-term stabilization of Gaza. But that's not enough for countries like Saudi Arabia and others, which are determined to see a two-state solution and Palestinian statehood achieved. So whilst this ceasefire is enacted, we're very far from a long-term stability and solution.